Hey guys, it's Tony with Wood Tramp Outdoors. You've asked me over the past couple of months about doing a video on how to choose a neck knife and why. That's what this video is all about, so hang tight, I'll be right back. All right guys, welcome back. I had put this project on the shelf and then I had a recent delivery about a month ago that kind of pushed me towards this. And you're going to see that it's a neck knife that's new and it's absolutely probably my favorite here that I've got. So here's the thing about neck knives from my standpoint. Everybody's got their opinion, experts got their opinion, you know, listen to whoever you want to, but I suggest you just develop it yourself. But here's how I go about it. Neck knives don't go out into the woods with me every day. I do not wear a neck knife around the community when I'm out there. I wear a neck knife when there is a possibility that I may need a backup for my main EDC that I carry on my hip. If I'm going out for less than 24 hours, let's say I'm going out for a 12-day jaunt, or 12-hour jaunt, I'll be out there doing some bushcrafting stuff, making some lunch maybe a hunting trip just for a day. I probably won't take a neck knife with me in that scenario because I'm wearing a chest rig. And in that chest rig, I've got a couple little backup things that I use. So I don't always take a neck knife unless I'm out for 24 to 36 hours or even more. Then I'll choose the neck knife and I will use the geographical region that I will be visiting as a benchmark, because there is the challenge that I'm going to face. What is out there in that geographical region? What am I going to do also while I'm out there? So those things dictate what I'm going to take. It could be something as complex as watching the weather systems. Is it going to be raining? Is it in a salt water or brackish water environment? You know, that tells me what steel I should be looking for in the knife that I am putting around my neck, just like the knife on my side. Next thing up is I got to ask myself, can that neck knife do what the main EDC can do if I happen to lose that knife, if I break that knife, or whatever? Now the short answer to that is that a little knife cannot do the things that a big knife can do. I don't care how good it is. It is going to be limited by the length of the blade, the girth of the blade, all of that, you know. And you got a neck knife, it's not there to build, 3-inch shelters. It's not there for you to be able to baton a 3-inch piece of processed firewood. You're talking about smaller stuff. That's what it's all about. So when I look at that knife, I got to ask myself, is this going to be able to do some tasks just in case? And that's what drives me. For most of the part, I've got these out in front of me. I just wanted to show them to you real quick before I get to the granddaddy of what this video is all about. But these are kind of the size. The sizes is important to me. This is a knife by Dean Hazuka. He used to run Montana Americana, and he built knives based upon museum pieces that he's seen out in the Northwest territories. And he did a great job. I love this neck knife. It's a small patch knife is what it is. Trappers would wear something like this when they were processing their pelts. But it's a beautiful knife, and let's just do this to make it interesting here, because I don't want it too big, and I don't want it too small. Overall, this is 6¼ inches, and it has a 2½ inch cutting edge head on the. I've already known that because I've looked at this knife many times with other people. Another one. This is the one I would say I wouldn't ever carry this. First of all, that retainer there, right there, is going to break at some point. But then when you remove the knife out there, man, it might be good for processing vegetables or what around a campfire somewhere, but it's just too small. This is 5½ inches, and the cutting edge is only 1 3/4 inches, something like that. This is made by Revolt Knives, I believe. No, it's not Revolt, is it? Yeah, it is Revolt. It is Revolt. So to me, that is just too tiny. I mean, you can't even baton hardly any little thing with that, you know. Not that you always need to baton something, but you know, like I said, there's a reason you carry a neck knife, and it's to be able to do some type of work. So that's one that I wouldn't carry. Here's another one that I wouldn't carry, you know, and it's not a bad knife. It's a decent knife. It's made by Warpath. I can't remember when this was sent to us, but I do remember that people were impressed with it. They liked it, but it was like in that medium thing. You know, it's too small to carry on your side to be able to do the things that we do out in the bush, and it was too large for a neck knife. I mean, the length on this guy right here is 7 inches. Cutting edge on this is 3¼ All right, so that's kind of a big knife, and if I remember right, this guy was 6½ ounces, and you know it's going to hang almost down to your belt, but that's just way too heavy. You know, it's way too big for a neck knife for me. One that I do like, so I mean, I told you I like the Dean Hazuka. One that I've always liked was this. This came from Essie. This is the Zulu 2. The regular Zulu did not have any scales on it at all, but that addition of these scales makes this a perfect neck knife. You know, I mean, overall, this guy is only 6¼ inches, and it has a 3-inch cutting edge on it, and it weighs about 4 ounces, something like that, or 4½ ounces. And it's very stout. It can do the job that you know, I mean, that's what a 3-inch blade looks like, cutting edge. You know, you don't want to ask this to do more than what it's been designed to do. Okay, so that's what that neck knife is all about. So I like this one also. It's a great size, great white. But here's the deal. Last month, our friends from MSK1, Ultimate Survival Tips, sent us a couple of their new minis. And I think this is called, let me tell you what this thing is called before I even break it out. The MSK1 Mini 2.0, and it is also called the Edge X, right? So I'm hoping they're the same. They may not be, but that's what I got, is the Edge X that I wanted to talk to you about today, because this is probably the most impressive neck knife that I have seen in many years, and I'm not exaggerating, and here's why. Let me just kind of show you here, okay? So there he is in its glory. I've got a black one here that's just made from got different scales on it, and I'm going to show you some stuff with this. The options with this crazy thing is off the charts right there. The steel is 1428 CN, I believe it is. That might even be on here as well. Let me read that just to make sure. 14C28N, right? And overall length on this guy is, excuse me, 6¼ and your cutting edge on this guy is right at 2 3/4. Okay, the wood handles are beautiful. This one has wood. There are different ones for that, let's just talk about the features on this knife. And this, again, you know, the size is perfect. When you're talking about size, it's perfect. You can hardly feel it on. It only weighs 3 ounces. I weighed it. Weighs 3 ounces, and you can hardly even notice that it's there. Now let's talk about the features, and we're going to talk about, start here on the pommel end. You've got a very generous exposed pommel. On the end of that pommel, it has been ground down to a 90-degree angle in order to use a ferro rod with it. It has ample jimping on the back of that pommel, and then you can see there are 2 holes for lashing this to a staff to turn it into a hunting device, a defensive weapon, whatever you might want to do with it. And as you turn it over here, I'm hoping you can see this feature right here. That is a bow drill divot, which is designed to be able to hold down your bow drill while you're starting your fire. All right. It's like a bearing block is what it takes the place of. All right. The scales come in different styles and materials. There is wood. There's micarta, and I think maybe even some G10. I'm not sure. Continuing on with the features of the knife, you have got ample jimping on the top, and David always makes sure that his jimping is finger friendly. And to complement it, the choll is about almost a third of the way into that jimping, and what that does is give you ample control when you're really bearing down to where you're not going to slip and cut your finger, and this will do some terrible damage to you with your fingers. So I love this little knife. It is tank tough. You can, again, you have to use the proper application to be successful with this. If you think you're going to baton through a 3-inch, piece of round oak, you're going to be there a while, and you might even damage the knife. Okay, be smart. Don't be Primitive Pete, where you use a screwdriver to fix a watch. Okay, or a hammer, to fix a window. Some of you are too young to remember who Primitive Pete is, but some of you are not. But don't be that guy. Use the knife for what it is designed for. This is designed for light duty work. And it will do the job for you and won't fail you. That's what's really important. Now, we're talking about features here. One of the features that you can't see on this knife because I've got it all together, but this is Pazynski. This is David. He's a thinker, and he's always coming up with something new to do something a different way. On the inside of these knives, it's a full-tang knife, but they do have a cavity in them, just like his larger MSK1, except because of the fact that this is a mini knife, it's a neck knife, the cavity isn't big enough to put his 21-piece survival kit in it, but what he does put in it is this right here. It is a fire steel and fire starter. All right, it looks like a wax impregnated type of material that you'd fluff up and would catch a spark. And yes, they do work. I like that option. Now, he also has fishing kits, all right? And these fishing kits, I think, are made by Wazoo Gear for him. They are encapsulated in plastic that fits in here perfect. And you can get different some fire steel stuff, and some plugs. That's an option also. This is the same thing, I believe, here. Thank you, Mr. Pazynski, for those. I wanted to show you something else. There was, over there. Well, that's just a replacement screw system in case yours goes south. Yeah, okay. So that is that. And I think that this puts this into the category of, wow, this really is a awesome neck knife. And for those of you that want something, different, you don't want to use it as a neck knife, again, Mr. Pazynski is a thinker, right? So I'm going to put this off to the side. If you don't want to use it as a neck knife, you can opt for the Kydex sheath with a quick clip on it. It also comes in a leather sheath if you want to use that. It comes as an option. These are accessories, by the way. This is an accessory fire steel that can be incorporated on the leather sheath here. And there's also one that can go on the Kydex sheath here. So, I mean, there are so many options that comes with this knife, all right? There you go. And they're not cheap. He puts them together very, very well. And another option is there are different scales that you can use, okay? This happens to be a blue one here. I didn't take them out because I hadn't intended to use them, but just for you to be able to see that they are blue and they are pretty. It's right there. That's an option. And then these are green. And yeah, let's see here. I think this is a G10. I'm just guessing. And these are micarta, right? Now I opted to carry, versus the black, I opted to carry this one because it is a little more visible. And I am not going to put, I'm going against my knife religion, I'm not going to put an orange lanyard on this, all right? And hopefully it doesn't fall out into the woods to where I lose this dude, right? Then I'd be a sad man. But I like that because it's got kind of a contrast to it, But I may end up going with the blue, so just in case it does fall out, I'll be able to find it. That's what it's all about. But that's it, man. I mean, for those of you that have been asking me to suggest a neck knife to you, I've been holding off because, there's only a couple that I would even say, and Dean doesn't make these anymore. The Izulu is available. The Izulu 2 is available. But when it comes down to it, and these are really, really good knives, and the price is great on these. I do not know the price on the MSK1 Edge here, Edge X, but I can tell you this is a lifetime knife. They're guaranteed for life, common sense life, and the options that you can get with these is really, really good. So that's my new favorite neck knife that you'll be seeing in the videos. Check out the scales, so you can go to MSK1's website, Ultimate Survival Tips, and you can find out anything. I think there's probably even more of the accessories that are available for this. And while you're there, check out all of his stuff because he's got some really neat products. He's got a small product that I would recommend, the small mini survival guide that unfolds. It's really pretty cool. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But just get out there and check it out. So David, you did a great job on the Edge, and you were right. I'm going to love it. I do love it. So thanks for asking, guys. Appreciate it. And get out there and check it out. So until next time, you be safe out there, no matter what you're doing.